Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Mortgage Leadership Outlook. Thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate you've been joining us every day, Monday through Thursday. We've been doing this every day, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. East Coast time. Really appreciate it. So do me a favor, if you're watching this now, make sure actually that you share this. Let other people know that we're doing this, that we're about to go live with Robert Stevens. So Robert Stevens, if you don't know him, he's a Senior Vice President of Construction Sales, GSF Mortgage, also the host of the Under Construction Show on the Mortgage News Network. So everyone, please give a great round of applause to Robert Stevens.
Andrew, thanks for having me.
Wonderful to have you here. Really appreciate you joining us again for this. I love the messaging that you've been putting out there on the Under Construction Show. So you did something actually that I thought was great about preparing for the end of the year. We're going to talk about that. I want to talk about actually how unique actually things are right now in the construction business, the construction perm business. Things are almost business as usual for you guys. So we'll talk about that. But listen, I'm going to actually invite some people, make sure actually that the room is filling up here. So do me a favor, do a little bit of introduction about yourself while I'm going to go here and invite my mom and my friends actually to Facebook so they can come experience this with us.
I appreciate that, Andrew. Thank you. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. As Andrew said, my name is Robert Stevens. I'm the Senior Vice President of Construction Sales with GSF Mortgage, and we exclusively focus on the single close construction program. So, one question that I have been asked daily, are we still doing construction business? And we're going to get into that a little bit on today's call with Andrew, but the answer is absolutely yes. A little bit of a background on myself. I went to school for hotel restaurant management, and I had a part-time job in a bank during the day, Glendale Federal Bank, for those of you who remember Glendale. And the branch manager came around one day with a sheet of paper and asked me if I wanted to apply for a loan officer assistant's job. And I thought that was a big deal. I got to work on Las Olas Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale and had a briefcase. Man, I was excited. $16,000 a year. And I had money in my pocket afterwards. But it was a start of a wonderful career, and I'm blessed to be able to assist all of my clients on a daily basis with generating single close construction business. Thanks, Andrew.
So $16,000 a year, but back then that was a lot of money, right?
Man, like I said, we had money left over, and hey, where are we going to dinner this weekend?
So what was that? Like once you got this awesome job, working at the bank, what was your first cool car that you got that you're like, yes, this is it. I finally made it.
An Acura Integra.
Nice ride. Yeah. Those are sweet. Very cool. So now, and at what point actually in your career, because at that time you weren't doing construction, I assume actually you were just doing, this is just regular conforming business at the time, right?
Yeah, that's right. So as I mentioned, I worked for Glendale Federal Bank, and I was a loan officer assistant to the top producing loan officer for the main office of Glendale Federal. Basically what I did, I entered good faith estimates into the system. They were done on a real basic type of an Excel spreadsheet, and I had to enter all the numbers into the system and then deliver the files upstairs to processing. It was a good entree into the business, I have to say.
So what were the rates back then?
Oh, well, I remember two things. When my mom and dad bought a home, they thought they got a deal at 16%, and when I purchased my first home, I went through my company I was working with, and my boss was able to give me a little bit of a discount. I think I ended up at 8.75, so 8 3/4, and man, that was a gift.
You excited about that?
Oh,
and how much did you have to put down?
It was a 95% loan. Yeah.
Oh wow, fancy. Yeah. That's great. So now, and at what point in your career did you see actually where you said, all right, listen, I can continue to do loans like this,
Sure.
And what point did you say, I want to become a specialist? I want to actually be, I want to focus on a particular area of lending where I know I could be the best in that area?
Man, Andrew, I love answering that question. So it was about 10 years ago. Don't hold me on the timeline. I just celebrated my 51st birthday, so starting to, I have to think about things now, it doesn't automatically pop into my head. But I went to work for First Guarantee out of Tyson's Corner, Virginia.
Sure.
And account executive, had a small territory in Florida and North Carolina. And I just, I kept just racking my brain that I have to figure out a way to get the doors open. I may not be able to sell what I'm, my main list of programs, but maybe that'll get me in front of somebody, and then I'll be able to discover what their needs are. And we had a single close construction program. So I just picked up the guidelines and studied up on it, created some talking points, and I was able to kind of wing it and make it work. And then the gentleman who ran that department called me and he said, we have about 30 people here, none of which are doing construction lending. How did you kind of, none to the point of, big numbers, all of your production is single close construction lending. I'm like, well, listen, I had to figure out something unique to get in and create a conversation. And that was single close construction lending that did that. And that's when I saw things take off for my career.
Fantastic. And listen, I have a couple of things. First off, Jerry Thomas just wrote, his first home was 11% FHA deal. And of course, the great Chad Giampedro, looking good, gentlemen. Thank you. Appreciate that. So listen, anyone who's joined us, please let us know if you've ever done a construction loan. Please post in the comments down here, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We want to hear just, let us know if you've done a construction loan, if you've done the single close construction loan. All right. So let's go back actually though. So your first experience. So well, just put a timeline on this. What year are we talking about when you found actually this niche when you was it First Guarantee?
First Guarantee. So it was probably right around 2010, 2011 ish in that area. Yeah.
2010, 2011. So, and tell me, what was your first experience when you did this? What were some of the things that you thought actually you would experience? Like were like the myths. Like, what were some of the myth busters that were presented to you from these single close construction?
Sure. Well, earlier on in my career, I had the opportunity to work for a couple of the major publicly traded home builders that have their own mortgage company. And I always thought the business model was flawed. You'd have a borrower come in, they tour the model home, they're interested, they negotiate their deal, they put a deposit down, they sign their contract. The home builder, based off of a pre-approval, builds that home, allows the borrower to pick out whatever options that they can afford, some of which are just absolutely ridiculous. And then 9 months later, they're actually requalifying for their mortgage and closing. And that's when you find out, hey, the credit went down, they bought a new car, whatever the case may be, and they can't close on the loan. The builder's stuck with the home. Not only that, they have to retrofit it because of those ridiculous options the borrower put in. So when I first got involved with single close construction lending, I said, well, wait a minute. All of that isn't even a worry because you're closing up front. So it's one closing before the home is built, obviously. The builder's money is guaranteed as long as the builder builds the home. And if something happens to the borrower, whether they unfortunately maybe lose their job, whatever the case may be, the builder will still get paid. So I'm like, well, look, listen, that's an easy door opener, right? I mean, you can get in front of any home builder, and if they push back on anything, you hit them with that they still get paid. Yeah, it's easy street. You could really make it happen.
Doesn't get much better than that. So we do have a couple of people that are doing construction loans. We got Bo Erickson does construction loans. Jerry Thomas, many 25 plus years. We got Nancy Kenny here. Started with Hamlet Federal in 1982 in their construction division, and have been doing it ever since. Bo also wants to know what states you guys lend in. Which I don't know if it's a pretty huge list.
It is. As I like to say, we're close to 40. I'll get that list out to you, and we're probably in one of the states you want to be in. I mean, all of the major players as far as new construction is concerned: Texas, the Carolinas, Tennessee, California. So we'll be happy to get that list out to you.
Fantastic. And from Jed Lohman, I do a lot of single close construction. There are very few true experts in the space, but Rob is definitely one of them.
Hi, Jed. I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's awesome. Fantastic. That's great to hear. And it's certainly not the first time I've heard that about you. And listen, your experience just shines through in your weekly episodes you do of the Under Construction Show on Mortgage News Network. But then a couple of weeks.
By the way, Andrew, before we go any further, I think I owe you an apology because I'm a little late sometimes getting those videos to you. So I need to do a little bit better of a job on that. So I apologize.
No worries. But so here's what's interesting. So a couple of weeks ago, and you don't always do about the construction single close product. Sometimes there's just good messages. And so a couple of weeks ago, you did a message about reflect, the time to reflect. And it was just really, really powerful about listen, the end of the year is going to come, and it's talking about what are you doing with the time now to make sure you're proud of this year. So talk a little bit about the genesis of this concept and where you came up with this, the idea of doing a video about reflecting.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate that. So, with all of the videos that I've been doing for the Mortgage News Network and my LinkedIn account, I really have been, as I call it, product dumping, feature dumping. Hey, here's what we could do. Here's how you put your loan together. And now with everything that we're all experiencing as a nation, I'm like, listen, now's not the time to sell single close construction lending. Now's the time to really strengthen our partnerships, right? Mm-hmm. So that got the wheels turning. And how many times does New Year's Eve roll around and you're like, damn it, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. So I went down that list, kind of pretended it was New Year's Eve. What would I change now as far as my career, my personal life, whatever the case may be? And, that's how I came up with the idea for that message. And I really do appreciate you, recognizing that. So I've gotten a lot of good feedback on it as well. So thank you.
All right. So I want to get into some tactical things. And so what can originators do right now? So we know a lot of them are very busy, but
sure.
We're not commuting. We need time to take the time that we would normally be commuting or normally be spending time with our coworkers or going out networking. What are some activities that you suggest originators do right now so that when the end of the year comes and they want to go and create a video like you did to be proud of their accomplishments and be proud of their year, what are some of the activities that they could do today to set them up so that their 2020 is going to be amazing?
Yeah, great. I'm glad you asked. So I thought about a farmer and how the farmer has to cultivate their crop, and they have to get up early in the morning and they have to work at it, and you just don't open up the back door of your home and you have this wonderful garden. You have to work at it. You have to farm it, right? That's what we need to be doing now. Just like I don't want to be coming out to my partners and constantly drilling home what you can do with single close construction lending. And by the way, I want to mention, we are still 100% closing and funding single close business for our core options, FHA, VA, USDA, and Fannie. We bumped up our credit scores a little bit to 680, but that just goes with what's happening in the market. I don't need to be selling right now. Yeah, we offer the program. What I need to be doing is reaching out to my business partners and just checking in. Hey, Andrew, how are things going? How's the family? Is there anything I can do for you? And when you get in a rhythm, that's a very easy thing to do, especially now that we're kind of stuck in our home, right? It's going to pay off because now 2-3 months from now, when things are picking back up with steam, you're not one of 100 people calling that same builder. If you're a home builder sitting in an office right now, wondering how your subcontractors are going to be paid because you're not able to get funding, whatever the case may be, and you walk in as a broker, as a lender, to sit down with that builder to maybe develop a plan, discuss their marketing footprint, right? It's going to get that energy going. And you're building that friendship, you're solidifying that partnership, and man, you get that thing cranking, you're not going to have to worry about it 6 months from now.
Yeah. So it's basically it's have conversations, call people, and be a human, but not be the salesperson. Be a human.
That's right. Absolutely.
So what do you recommend? So let's say if someone actually sees this opportunity, sees actually that there's going to be a big opportunity with actually the single close construction product. How do they learn it? How do they actually become masters at it? Obviously, you should be watching every week what you call, I'm going to show the banner here, the Under Construction Show. And if you follow that link right there, that link will also allow you to be able to access all the previous episodes. So lots of great content there. But what other guidance can you give actually our audience that are watching this right now on what they could do to basically be ready if they've not done the single close construction product? What can they do to get ready themselves?
Get out of their own way. I think there's a stigma, if you will, with construction lending, that it's difficult, it's time consuming, and why do I want to get involved with that? Let me just get 10 refis in and I'll be good, right? If you learn the program and you structure the transactions the correct way, you're home free. And what I always like to tell people, I don't want you to worry that you have to study these book of guidelines and you have to learn how to pitch a home builder. Let me do that for you. Let me complement your sales ability. You make the connection with the home builder and then bring the construction lender in. When the home builder realizes you're bringing the construction lender in, my God, that's only going to really strengthen that relationship you have. And then I'll go over the details. You only have to listen to my pitch once or twice, and then you'll have that down pat and you'll be able to successfully sell the program. I don't want to say it's a simple thing, but if you follow our steps, you'll definitely have success with it.
Interesting. So, great advice. It's nice to know that we have actually a veteran like yourself actually that can be our ally in this. Sure. So can you talk a little bit about why the program has been generally unaffected, relatively speaking, to a lot of other areas of lending? Especially niche areas, seem to be. It's always the niche areas that seem to go first. So, what do you feel the reasons that the single close construction product has not been impacted?
Well, it hasn't been impacted with GSF. This is the only program we offer. Now, there are some things that we're doing to help our clients and retain some of that additional business our clients have. And I'm actually going to be speaking about that in one of the next videos I put together. But we've established ourselves in the marketplace as a best-in-class single-close construction lender. It's all we do. So if we don't manage this program correctly through this time, navigate both through the choppy waters, we're not going to come out a winner on the other side. So, I report directly to Chad Giampedro. I know you mentioned his name a moment ago, and I got to tell you, what a dynamic leader to lead us through what we're currently going through. But it's effective portfolio management that's really the key to our success with this program. Because for the folks that don't know, really what we're doing during the time of the construction portion of the loan, that's basically a portfolio loan, and we're holding on to that, and we're managing that through completion. Not a lot of folks can do that, right? I mean, keeping something on a warehouse line that long, you're going to raise some eyebrows. Yeah. We've been able to do that successfully. And, converting into a traditional type of a product. It's not converting into a non-QM loan or something along those lines. It's converting into FHA, VA, USDA, or Fannie Mae. So one other thing I do want to mention that really illustrates our position in the marketplace as a leader, and we've been able to do that effectively. We're one of the only lenders in the country that has an exception with Fannie Mae to offer 95% financing on a single closed construction loan. So when you can turn that back around and mention that to a home builder, that allows the home builder to expand their marketing footprint, that's a big deal.
Wow. And so listen, we really don't come on here to do product pitches, but in your case, I think it's important to do it.
Sure.
And I want to talk about it, and especially which we have. Bo just asked this: do you offer spec and owner-occupied owner builder?
So no spec financing and no owner builder. Primary residences for our 4 core products. We do offer second homes for Fannie, and we also offer duplex financing under FHA. One side would be owner occupied. They can rent the other side out.
Fantastic. All right. My buddy Chris just joined. Chris, I'm curious if you do any single close construction. Please let us know here in the comments. We got Chris Thomas wrote, good afternoon. What is GSF? I've used AFR one-time close. They're good friends of ours. Yeah. Laura Brandeo, just a hero in the industry. We think the world of her. So I talk a little bit about what is GSF. I could talk a little bit about it, but you could probably speak even better.
So you mean from the standpoint of what do the initials stand for?
Well, I've always wondered that, and so you're talking actually. So I've known the ownership actually yes. For really about 20 years, and I don't think I ever knew what the initials stand for. I know you're based in Wisconsin.
Right.
I know.
Wisconsin.
Yep. I know. I met you guys actually originally through the past president of the Illinois Association of Mortgage Brokers, okay, going back 20 years ago. But tell us actually, what does GSF stand for?
Yeah, I invite everybody to visit our homepage, singleclosing.com. Click on the About Us tab there. And it was about 30 years ago. Those are the initials of the founding individuals of our company. There's a little bio there where you can read up on that. But I've been stumped on that question several times, and I'm like, you know what? It's time I read the webpage, and I can answer like I just did now.
All right, Phil. What's his name? Phil Seabar, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, great. I knew one of them, so great. That's awesome. All right, very cool. And we got Chris wanted to know, he's in Alabama. Are you here?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic, wonderful. Very cool. And I got here we go. There you go, Chad Giampedro. Okay. Can you please say that I can't because please go you go right ahead. You should. Yeah.
Actually, I don't want to embarrass myself with the pronunciation there. So
I got Siebert. I'll take Siebert. Thank
you, Chad, for the assist.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Next time, Chad, if you could please post the phonetical spelling, that would be very, very helpful. Very cool. So I'm curious, actually. Hold on for a sec. We got a little more. I'd love to get signed up. Great, fantastic.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll post the link actually down here below, so people actually can connect with you directly. Also, Chris, check out the under construction. I'll put that link back up so you can check out the show. But so, when did you actually hook up with the folks over at GSF?
It's coming up on my year anniversary. So our program director, his name is Rudy Marquez. I met Rudy back when I was at First Guarantee. And as I like to describe it, he, politely started pinging me on LinkedIn. I probably ignored a few of the messages. And then speaking of Chad, the phone rang one day and I'm like, all right, I'll listen. And I'm glad I did. So for me personally, it was the best move of my career.
Interesting. I remember many years ago, I did an interview with some of your executives, and they said something to me that just blew my mind, and it stuck in my head. That the way GSF operates is almost like the way Dell operates, where they do everything so Dell maximizes every inch of space to make sure actually that nothing is underutilized, and that it operates as efficiently as it possibly can, and that GSF is super hyper focused on making sure actually that you guys operate as efficiently as you possibly can. So.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I would like to share, if you said to me, what's the one thing that you can say about GSF that makes you a success, a best-in-class single-close construction lender, it's control. We control the entire process from start to finish. So some of the other folks, my competitors in this space, they may handle what I'm about to mention a little bit differently. I can't speak to their business models, but as far as GSF is concerned, every single step is handled by us. The vetting of the builder, internally. The calculating of the budget, internally. And then most importantly, who is the builder going to call when they're ready for money? GSF. So we're not utilizing a third party, not knocking anyone that does. That works for them, but that's been the key to our success, control and managing the process end to end.
Yeah. Matthew Sell agrees with that. We got a question from Trent Dairy Mumple. I'm sorry, I just butchered you. Trent, we got a question from Trent.
Go with Trent.
Are the LOs required to be in the same state where the homes will be? Our LOs lend nationwide.
Yeah, great question. So whatever your licensing requirements are, that's what you would adhere to. I have many loan officers that are licensed in several states. You don't have to physically be in that particular state, but again, it's whatever the state you're in requires. We'll follow that guidance.
Fantastic. All right, so now I'm going to ask you. So you normally would be out on the road, right? You're normally actually. This is not a usual thing for you to be, locked down in your home actually for such an extended time, right?
Yeah, I'm usually on the road about 75% of the month as far as my time's concerned.
How has it been for you? How has actually has it been a struggle? What has it been like for you personally, dealing with the new norm?
Yeah, so it's been different. I had to reacclimate myself, if you will. Normally, I come home on a Thursday or a Friday, just kind of, get the suitcase turned around and, back on the road on Monday or Tuesday. And I'm actually probably one of the few people that enjoy airports. Don't ask me why, I do. So I kind of miss that hustle and bustle, but that's what led me to one of the videos we mentioned where I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to recharge the batteries, reach out to my clientele, maybe offer support that I haven't been able to offer because I'm visiting with someone. And you just don't visit with somebody for 5 minutes. That could be an all-day affair. So now I have the whole day where I can reach many different clients and assist them with their unique marketing needs. So it was a little tough to get used to, maybe week one, but I've been able to, figure out the best way to approach the day.
So first off, I get that about airports.
Okay.
There's no question about it. There's some airports that are better than others.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, you've got good restaurants, you've got good food, you've got there's a lot of great things that you find actually in airports. But so jumping back actually to what you actually were, so you're talking a little bit about some of the things that you're doing with your clients on strategically helping them prepare. So talk to us about some of those activities. So like what are some of the things that you're doing?
Yes,
Oh, it's my buddy Paul Jones, who's missing airports too.
Hey Paul, how are you?
Yeah, a FGMC guy too.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I saw Paul in New Orleans. So I think we had a cocktail together, and I think I stuck him with the bill, if my memory serves me correctly.
Nice. So. Very cool.
But one of the things that I've been able to do, and it just really, I mean, the positive effects, it just snowballs. I've been able to now partner more with my clientele during those beginning stages of a transaction. So they're not, wide-eyed looking at a home builder wondering what to do. I've been able to get involved and to help them much earlier on. I didn't necessarily have the time to do that when I'm visiting clients on the road. So just that simple phone call, it tees the transaction, it tees the relationship up for success.
No. So are you doing a lot of phone calls, a lot of Zooms? Like what's your preferred method of communication?
I'm a little old-fashioned, I guess, as far as the communication is concerned.
Sure.
I'm a phone guy. If I have a client request a video call, no problem. But I just hop on the phone.
That's great. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Very cool. Well, listen, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to meet with us. Before we close out, any closing message from you that you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, I just, circling back to the video message that Andrew was talking about, it's, we've all done it, right? The shouldas, the wouldas, and the couldas. And now is the time to reevaluate your business plan, make those subtle changes, get out there, reinvent yourself, do something different. And I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy the payoff when the end of the year rolls around. And if there's anything I can do for you, please feel free to reach out to me.
Fantastic. And I'm putting a link right there in the chat box. So if you are joining us here, you could use that link. And that's, I believe that connects to your site. So they can connect directly to you. Chris Thomas posted his phone number in here. So you'll have to go into the chat later on and check out actually his phone number. But listen, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to meet with us, sharing your idea. Love actually the show. I mean, it's really actually, it's just a great thing. We got Jerry Thomas looking forward to getting approved with you, Rob. So,
thanks, Jerry.
Jerry, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. All right, Rob, thank you so much.
Andrew, thanks. Bye, everybody. Make it a good day. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, thank you again for joining us for another Mortgage Leadership Outlook. Really, really excited you joined us for this one. So tomorrow, Dave Schroeder, who is the head of TPO for Caliber Home Loans. So excited to have him. Coming up next week, we got Carissa Robb, who is the president of, I believe it's Constant. It's an AI company that has AI solutions for servicers. Has just been actually in the servicing space for decades. Then we actually started in right around 2008. She got thrown into the wolves in 2008 and quickly rose to the rank of banks like TD Bank. Then Matt Ishbia coming up on next Tuesday. Jerry Schiano, and we have another surprise guest. I can't reveal it yet. We're just waiting to confirm it, but great lineup. So thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. Everyone, be safe and have a great day.